And then once again, we were just led to this place this day. Great Bible study, great message, and also this evening's Bible study happens to be about end times, which I love chatting about and discussing about. Yeah, just great, super helpful people. They prayed for our situation, assured us again that we could stay here as long as necessary. I'm sure there's probably a timeline to that, but 6 years from now they might want us off the lot. But yeah, absolutely great. Somebody's looking into immigration possibilities for us to move to the States. Another person said that they're friends with the realtor here, so if we want to buy a house in town or something here, they could probably help out with that. At least one mechanic came over to talk about the vehicle. Another guy was giving me suggestions about the vehicle. Another one suggested another mechanic about the vehicle. Offers for rides, offers for everything that we need. It's just been absolutely great people. And honestly, a true blessing. And then the service as well, I don't remember all of it. I've never been good at that to tell you exactly what a service is about, but just the idea of letting go and living and trusting in God and not relying on our own things, it just really spoke to us. And so we can get built up. I don't know if we were facing pride issues really, like we're just enjoying our holiday and giving God praise, but we do rely on our things. So we feel confident to go on a holiday and explore God's creation because we have the finances to do so, rather than leaning on God. And this is something Anissa and I have talked about a lot, that modern Christianity, we pray to God and we say that we trust in God, but actually we trust in our system and in our finances, in our abilities, in our doctors, more so than we actually truly trust in God. And I think that's something that we should all be consciously aware of. And I know that we definitely would like to become more trusting in God and in His plan rather than in our own things. And so maybe this is a test, are you willing to let this go as well? We've already given up so many of our things for what we believe our future holds and what God has in store for us. We just more and more and more. Also, there's so we have the dog, and we've also decided to give up Maya. Our next leg of the journey, well, it depends. If we can get this thing fixed, then we'll probably travel just a hair more yet. But our next leg of the journey is going overseas, and it's just, the more we look into it, it's very complicated to do that with a dog. So that's been something that we've struggled with as well. We have decided to let her go, and actually it was a wonderful family from church here. They took her with today, so if all works out, they're going to have her there. She'll have 10 acres to play with. There's some pigs and goats and other animals similar to what we had. They are actually kind of a homesteady family as well, and do a lot of their own canning and preserving and that kind of stuff. So it's a good fit. But it's just one more thing we have to learn to let go. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. It's been an absolute blessing. We're back on the motorhome here now, and getting geared up for this evening service.
I could fix that.
Well, bye, you friends.
Had them just like break like that.
You heat would do it
they
though?
were just crappy wires or something.
No, I need to pull that boot up. You had a needle nose there? That's still there. I got one that busted here.
Inspecting those rocker arms because those can come loose real quick. It's up to you, but I know that's the problem.
Time, beautiful day, nice and cool this morning. Actually, we're gonna go for a walk down to the grocery store and get a few things. I think it's just cool because we buy these in like what do you want to call it? We can buy them in a specialty store or whatever, these cactuses, but they just grow here. I don't know what kind these are or nothing, but it's kind of neat plants. And then this guy here, I'm still hoping to see the big giant cactuses, but it's kind of neat to see a cactus, period. And apparently now it's raining, which is an answer to prayer. They're supposed to have their monsoon seasons right now, and they got nothing. They got no water. So I hope it doesn't open up like it did in Arizona, because then we'll be really, really wet. We've got about a 9-minute walk to the grocery store, and then 9 minutes back. So that's a long enough time to get wet. Mechanic did take a look at the engine. Give you an update on that shortly. Good morning. Beautiful day. A few things. Talk to you about surrender. First of all, the importance of surrender. Never been a biblical channel. Well, we are a biblical channel, but not a sermon channel, I guess. But yeah, I just remarking again and thinking again this morning how we were just totally surrendered to whatever happens. You know, if we have to throw this thing out, then we just throw it out. That's fine. And the moment we just let go of all that, when it broke back in Arizona, we were like, okay, we got to get this fixed. And we just felt more stressed out about it. When this time it happened, we just weren't concerned about it really at all. We were just surrendered to God's will. And I think that allowed things to happen because, I mean, we ended up here at this church with this fellowship, with a mechanic now working on it. He's taking a look at it. Sounds like it's a camshaft inside the engine. So he's going to help us with that. Gave us some ideas on price. It's really hard to tell until we really open it up. But he's inspected the cylinders. They look good. He's compression tested everything. That looks good. As far as the lifters and the rods are good. They're not bent. So we're pretty sure it's the camshaft inside. So that's an internal component that lifts rods up and down, which opens up exhaust valves and intake air valves. But we're going to start pulling it apart today. And then just a few things. We don't want to pull too much apart. He doesn't have time to come back till maybe later tonight or tomorrow. It's Monday now, getting close to lunchtime. But Wes and I are going to start pulling the front of it apart and just kind of assisting in that way. We'll get the seats out of the way, all those kind of things, and then he'll come back. So, but just a complete blessing. And I think personally that's due to surrender. The importance of that. Very hard. Probably for all of us, but I can't speak for you, but I know for me it's extremely hard to let go of that control. We like to be in control. We like to have I like to be in control, have my steps planned, you know, what's going to happen next, and this, and that, and that. We do live kind of free as far as traveling. We don't have an itinerary. That kind of thing is free, but what we do kind of plan ahead. And I would have never taken a holiday if I didn't know, you know, some of these things. And so to let go of that completely and be like, okay, we're at God's will now. Do with us what you will, and figure out a way for us. And it's all just falling into place. It's wonderful. So we're hoping that there's a way that we can serve these people this week as well. I don't know of a way yet, but I'm hoping whether we could maybe help them out with mowing the grass, or there's no flower beds here. I thought we could do something like that, or maybe there's a bit of construction work we can do here on the church, or I don't know, some way we could serve this community and help them and give back would be a real blessing to us as well. Other than that, we're sitting tight. We got a good spot. We're going to put the awning out here right now, set up here a little bit on this concrete pad, and kind of enjoy this day. Like I said, Wes and I are going to start tearing in to the front end here, pulling off a few things. We can pull the radiator off on the front. A lot of this stuff needs to come out. We're going to take this condensing fan off, the condensing unit off. Then the radiator's behind that. We'll have to drain it and pull that off. The engine's back here, so a lot of this stuff will come out. Whatever we can get off, basically. And then on the inside, we put a lot back together, but the motor's in there. So we'll start on that as well. I'm going to let him do that. He wanted to be able to pull it apart just so mentally he knew where everything was. He's very confident he can get us going. He's thinking top of his head right now we're looking at $2-3 grand. So that wouldn't be that bad at all. That's much better than expected, and that's giving us a good break and us helping. So if that's all it is, that won't be too bad. It could be a lot worse than that for sure, but we'll see, and it's kind of hard to tell until we start getting into it. Lizard friends running around here this morning. He's hiding under my tools somewhere. There he goes. Yeah, we pulled out both seats out of the front here. It's actually quite simple now that they're out. We're like, yeah, you can change the carpet. That's what we're worried about. We're going to get kind of greasy here, pulling the motor out of this hole. Try to cover it up with something. We'll see how it goes. If we could find even some cardboard maybe today and cover this up, would keep it cleaner. But it really wouldn't take much actually to replace the carpet, even if you made a joint here or something like that. But it'd be nice to have it all matching, I suppose. What a lot of people do too, because these engines run so warm, is they run a layer of insulation with aluminum foil backing pointed down underneath here, and then put the carpet back on. Same thing in the doghouse, and that helps keep a lot of that heat down there as opposed to coming up. So anyway, we're labeling everything too. We got everything in bags, so we know where what was, or he does. The seats, I'm hoping we're going to be able to put them inside here so they don't get wet. The rest of the stuff, The rest of the stuff is not going to matter whether it gets wet or not so much.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this really stresses me out a lot, just because I don't know enough about it, and I worry about there's hidden costs and there's hidden things and all that other stuff, but I am trying to just let it go and let, like, I guess it doesn't really stress me out that much because I don't have to do it, but it just stresses me out because there's just so many nuts and bolts and things that could go wrong when you're trying to put things back together. It's like a puzzle, right? But I'm really confident in this mechanic. He seems to know exactly what he's doing, and it's just like his mind goes a mile a minute, and he's done it for years, and he's confident in it, and but it is a little stressful. Just because they're talking about taking a motor out, and it's like that's just not in my scope of things. So it's been a true blessing, it really has. And just surrender. I'm just surrendering to the situation, and yeah, just hoping it all works out.
All right, beautiful day. We got lots done here, and yeah, just nice. Had a nice chat with the pastor and his wife here again, and then there's a neighboring family living over here, or not family, sorry, just a couple lives back here in the tiny home. So I forget what he called himself, a certified RV technician or so. I don't know. They used to be traveling around on the road, and after he got discharged from the army, they were on the road for I think a year and a half in an RV. So he took some courses and he knows quite a bit about RVs. So he saw, excuse me, sunny. He saw our hood open here, and he's like, "Oh, that looks like engine troubles." So anyway, him and his wife walked over here and chatted with us for quite a while. So it was a nice conversation with them. It's always nice to meet people. Everybody has a story, and I think it's really rewarding when you can open up to that and you can share stories, and we all come from different places. So yeah, it's really neat. So right now we've pulled both rads out here. The one's a condensing unit or condenser. I forget if that's the proper terminology, but for the air conditioning. And then the other one's the rad, the cooling rad. So we've taken it all off, taken the computer out. That's what these plugs are for. So now we can see at the actual engine. And I'm not sure how much more I want to pull apart and how much more Gordon wants to pull apart. He's the mechanic that's looking at this thing. So, but we'll do a little bit more. Maybe we could take the belt off. He did say that. There's a belt that runs around here. Probably could pull the alternator off. I think from what I understand, we need to get in behind the fan. Here is a camshaft that runs through the engine. I'm not 100% sure, and it's kind of, I wish this front end would open up more. Whoops, something behind me. This front end would be nice if it could come off. Like, it does have a seam here, but it looks like it's a real pain. Because then we could just get in closer. We got this room here. Be a little bit easier to work on. I think we'll make do. So what he's hoping is that we don't have to pull the whole motor out. We can just pull some of those components off and fix it and then put it back together. I'm hoping he's right. But somewhere behind here is the camshaft, so this front end stuff all has to come off from what I understand. I might look at another YouTube video in a minute too, just to get a better idea myself. Even though I'll probably let him do it, then I just have a better understanding of what he's talking about. So anyway, thought I'd give you an update. We got both seats out as well. Got a whole raft of parts sitting here. This is the engine, the computer for it. That's my cruise control right there. Both seats. Corey Lynn doing homework. And just a bunch of components. And so now we have tons of space inside of here. Oop, sounds like it's an unhappy baby.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket, in plain sight all along.